Good afternoon, lawyers, friends, family, and esteemed guests. Welcome to the 2024 Penn State Dickinson Law Juris Doctor Commencement Ceremony. I'm humbled and honored to be here before you all today. As I was writing this speech, I had trouble finding the words to say, and for all those who know me, know how seemingly impossible that is. But as I reflect on the past 3 years here, I want to walk us all through 3 brief stories, and I promise they're brief, and lessons that I've learned along the way. First, my story, then our story, and lastly, your story. My story, by birth, begins just over 24 years ago. However, my story really begins about 20 years ago. That was when my parents flew nearly 5,000 miles overseas to adopt my brother and I. You see, 20 years ago, I was in an orphanage in Russia, wearing clothes that barely fit, eating food that was barely edible, and living in conditions that were minimally livable. I had little food, little opportunity, and little love. When you look back at pictures of little me, or should I say littler me, it's easy to see a cute kid looking back at you. Although some may disagree on that part. Look at you, Tom. But the reality is that the kid in those pictures is terrified. Sure, his situation sucks, but in the moment, he is being ripped apart from the only thing he knows as home by 2 random people who don't even speak his language and is being drugged thousands of miles to a country he has no concept of. When I look at that picture, I know what I felt: fear. If only that little boy knew what was in store for him. If only he knew the life he would have. And if only he knew he would be before you all today. There would be no fear. We have all been that little boy at times, not sure if what we are doing or where we're at is the right place. But the lesson here for all of you is to have no fear. It's only easy to understand the journey when looking back. But have faith. Know that you are destined to make a mark on this world. But the reality is my story is not unlike our story here. Everyone from the class of 2024 has come here following an incredible journey of their own. While I can never do all of their stories justice, among our class are K through JDers and second careers. We're spouses, partners, and parents to furry children as well as to human ones. We come from faraway lands like Iran, Korea, China, and India. We hail from states like Texas, Florida, Utah, Washington, Arizona, Virginia, and even ones as exotic as California. Woo! We're activists, business people, musicians, service members, firefighters, police officers, service workers, and paralegals, amongst so many other occupations. We love and at times hate reading, going on hikes, making jokes, knitting, organizing events, cooking, playing softball, and losing in fantasy football. Oh, that's just me. And if I must say so myself, we're incredibly optimistic and intelligent, passionate, and supremely resilient. The common thread of our story has culminated here, in this place, and in this institution. Here, we found a home where we not only lived, but thrived, even if there were many moments that it felt the opposite. We found community and comfort in knowing that when things got tough, we had each other to lean on. And we take further comfort in knowing that no matter where we go or what we do, we always have this community, and this community always has us. The lesson I learned here is to be who you are, unless you are someone who likes tax. I'm mostly kidding. But in all seriousness, one of the number 1 things I would tell people when applying to law school is to not lose themselves in the process. If there's something you love to do or some part of your identity that is important to you, prior to coming to law school, it is important to hold on to that throughout the journey. And this is your reminder, following law school, to hold on to that still. Our identity and who we are is not a hindrance to our ability to advocate, rather it is an asset. The law is a human endeavor. It is in being our authentic selves that we bring the most value to our clients, to this profession, and indeed to the world. But who we are is nothing without who all of you are, those in the audience. Our family, friends, colleagues, and valued guests, those who are here in person, who are watching from home, and who are here in spirit. We could not be who we are or do what we do without you. You see, my story began when two random people flew 5,000 miles, picked me up, told me to call them Mama and Papa, and said 3 words I had never heard before: I love you. My story and our story are only possible because of your story and what you poured into us. Your sacrifices, support, tender love, and care have pushed us beyond anything we could have ever imagined. So to my classmates, I implore you to carry this torch forward. Strive to give of your time and your resources and energy and your friendship to all those around you. But do remember this: you cannot pour from an empty pitcher. This lesson was further made one evening when I paid one of my very, very rare visits to the local watering hole. I believe it's called the Gingerbread Man, or as the locals like to say, G-Man. But as we shared in the evening, I noticed the pitcher of water that we all partook of would be refilled, and the night would continue. And as the night and revelry and shenanigans dwindled down, so too did the pitcher, and no more refills were called. Once it was empty, we knew it was time to part ways and look forward to a new day. Know this: as with law school, the law will drain you at times, as well as your other obligations and responsibilities. Take time to rest, time to enjoy the company of friends, and to do the little things that fill your pitcher. And as you seek to give back and connect your story with the stories of those around you, remember that you cannot pour from an empty pitcher. Now, I started this speech with Professor Mogil's favorite greeting. This reference to us as lawyers, even on our first day of school, signifies the gravity of the profession that we are entering. Growing up, I saw firsthand the power of the law to build and to help lives. The law gave me a family, a country, and an opportunity to be more than I could have ever thought possible. But I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the very real power of the law to destroy and harm others. Remember, the law is a tool, and a powerful one at that. No matter what you do or where you practice, may you always remember the high calling of this profession and to use the law to help those around you. So it's with deep pride and love in my heart that I congratulate you all on this momentous achievement. Thank you.